Okay, so let's start working on the conversion methods of convertible debt. This is going to be a little bit more complicated and involved. I'll try and go slowly and make sure that we get it and we can understand exactly what's going on here. So the way that I'm going to start this off is by coming somewhere along down in here and just labeling a little bit. So I'm going to say method of convertible note share issuance. I know that's a little bit of a mouthful, but that's the only way I know how to explain it at this point. So just merge those cells, and I'm gonna make these a little bit wider at this point. So we'll come over here and say fixed pre-money. So the pre-money valuation stays the same. Say fixed post-money. So the post-money valuation stays the same. And then I'll say is post-money plus P and I for principal and interest from notes. And so those are just little explainers on what these different methods are. So this is clearly the pre-money method. This is the percentage ownership method. And this is the dollars invested method. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I don't know if you remember from the initial example that I set or showed, there's some switches that you can turn on and off in order to do different things with the spreadsheet, so you can see the effects of different conversion methods and everything else. And we're going to create some of those switches right here. So the way that I do these little switches is just basically using ones and zeros and then if statements. So we type a 1 or a 0 in the box right here based on which method we want to use. And I'll just highlight those and scoot this over a little bit and make a little bit of room. So this is where we type a 1 or a 0. In this case, we'll just do a 1, 0, 0. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm just filling those in. Then we have to come down here and type in pre-money. So this is where we will calculate the share price if we use the pre-money method. Then we'll do a percentage ownership method. And then we will do the dollars invested. And I'm going to merge these. I want to keep my formatting decent as we go through here so that you all can follow along and I can make sure to do it correctly. So what we have to calculate here is very similar to the share price calculations that we did in column H and I, with a little bit of a differential. But we'll start by typing the same thing out. Actually, I think we could probably just go over here and copy and paste these and do that for all three of these right here. So the founder shares is the same thing that we did in the previous share price calculations, and so we'll just reference the founder shares right here. The pre-money valuation is also referenced from the same. It's not a formula that we input. We reference the pre-money valuation that's inputted over here in the I column. So we'll do that too. Invested funds. This is where it gets a little bit different because the invested funds is different for each method. So in this method, what we need to do in order to get the invested funds is come here and say, what is the Series Seed cost? So we know that they invested $100,000, but they got interest on this $100,000 for 2 years, presumably. So what we want to do here is use a simple future value formula. So we're calculating the value of that $100,000 with 8% interest compounded yearly for 2 years. So the first thing we got to do is click on the rate. So the rate is that 8% and that future value. And if you're familiar with Excel, I'm sure you know how to use this formula. The time period is 2. We don't have any payments. And the present value, in order to get a positive value here, has to be negative. And that's negative, the amount that's invested in the convertible note, that negative $100,000. So we can see that we got a $116,000, 640 worth of Series C cost, because that's how much was invested whenever you convert the principal and interest into the round here. So, and now we know that the invested dollars would be this sum right here, this 316,640. But that's not necessarily true of this method, because they also get that discount on that share price. So we have to factor in the share price, the 80% or the 20% discount on there in order to get the true amount of invested funds. So let's do that. So we got to go over here and get this number here, this 200,000, and then add in this number divided by 1 minus the discount. In order to do that correctly, we got to make sure we get our parentheses all taken care of, and so this is just order of operations. And let's see what we come out with here. So we're at 345,800. Let's make sure we calculated that correctly. So H17 at 200,000 plus H15, this 116,000, divided by 1 minus D15, the discount. So that means we're calculating it there. So let's go in and lock all of these cells real quick. That way we can copy and paste this over, because this is the number we're going to use for invested funds for all 3 methods. Okay. So now we have to calculate post-money valuation. The post-money valuation should be the pre-money valuation plus the invested funds. But in this case, this is where it differs between these methods. In this case, it is this plus this. In this case, the pre-money valuation is still the 4 million, but the post-money valuation is simply the pre-money valuation plus the amount that is invested in the Series C round. So we have a lower post-money valuation here. In this case, the pre-money valuation is the same, and the post-money valuation is the pre-money plus this 316, not the 345. So the dollars invested method doesn't take the discount into effect whenever converting or whenever figuring out the share price. So as you can see, the most founder-friendly method is this pre-money method. The least founder-friendly method is the percentage ownership method, because that has the lowest post-money valuation. The middle of the road is the dollars invested method. So it has the middle post-money valuation between the pre-money and the percentage ownership. So real quick, just to wrap up this video, let's go over here and make sure that our founder's shares cell references that million right there. And then I'm going to put a box around these, but I noticed that these real quick are in the wrong column. Let's put them here. Copy, just cut and copy them over there. Put a box around. Put a box around. Put a box around. So between videos, I am cleaning up my formatting a little bit. If you want to pause it at the beginning of the video and match my formatting, that's a better way than for me to do it throughout the entire video, as that can get a little monotonous.